Hey everyone, and welcome to week 8 of my Achilles recovery journey. Once again, I am Dr. Stacy Barber. I am the owner and founder of the PhysioFix in Phoenix, Arizona, and you guys can follow me on the PhysioFix Instagram, YouTube, pretty much everything out there. So I'm here to share my Achilles recovery journey with you guys, tell you kind of what's been going well, what's not been going well, and just share the week-to-week wins and maybe the occasional losses. So week 8, that's what week I'm on right now, was pretty exciting. I had a couple big things that happened. So I'll just kind of share those first, and then I'll kind of go through everything else that happened in the week. So number 1, this was the first week I was able to do front squats without needing a box to squat down to, which is a huge win. I didn't just do these barefoot though, or just in like flat shoes. I did wear my Olympic weightlifting shoes, which have a heel lift on them, and that means that I was kind of already in more plantar flexion, so I didn't have to have as much dorsiflexion to do that movement, because I do not have that much dorsiflexion at this moment, and I'm really not pushing that, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. So that's number 1. Number 2, I was able to do some heavy deadlifts, or what's like relatively heavy for me. I did they were 193 pounds, and I was doing like 5 sets of 2, and it felt so easy. It moved so well, and it made me so happy, because it was like the first indication that like I have retained my strength, and I'm so excited, and that just made me really happy inside. And I'm showing all this stuff, you know, to the side over here as I'm talking about it. And number 3, I was able to do some mini like bouncing calf raises, that's what I'm calling them, on the mini tramp that I have at my office. So as you guys know, I was a former gymnast, and one of the goals that I want to get back to is gymnastics based activities. So I want to be able to just do a backflip randomly again, which I was able to do prior to this injury, and that means I'm going to have a lot of elasticity or elastic energy and be very explosive and plyometric. So that first bounce on the tramp, that's like a step in the right direction. So those were my 3 big wins this week. So I hope you guys are doing really well on your road to recovery. I never thought, you know, if you look back week 1, 2, 3, I was like, I can never see myself squatting again, because my ankle was not moving. It was very stiff, and I just never thought I'd be where I am right now, only in week 8, back when I was in week 1, 2, or 3. So keep, you know, stay on the course, guys. It's gonna get better, and we're all on our own timeline, so don't worry if you're not in the same place as me, because what I'm doing is just different than what you may be doing, and it might not be right for you to do what I'm doing. So you guys just do you. So week 8 means that this is my 2nd full week in shoes. Once again, I'm not wearing like other shoes, like tennis shoes. I'm wearing Birkenstocks, so no heel on these, and also they don't have like the thing around the toe. These I think are called like the Arizona ones or something. And I may be getting that wrong, but I'll link it below. And that means that I can wear my compression socks with these at work, and I also am wearing my gel heel cup like under the compression socks, and I don't have the back of the shoe, so it doesn't rub on my scar, which is really awesome. But these take a while to break in, guys, so just like give it some time. Another big exciting thing, I guess, that happened this week is this is the first week that I went without my scar bleeding or like opening. So the first week out of my boot, I think there was just a lot more movement, a lot more swelling, and that turned into a lot more opening of my incision and a lot more bleeding. So week 2, things are kind of under control at this point. I have been icing very religiously at this point too, because as I said last week, it just bled so much. It was like, I have to get this under control, because I can't even do any exercises when it's bleeding. So this week I bought, I'll put it right here, I bought this little like compression ice wrap, and I put it at my office, and 2 or 3 times throughout the day I would take it out and like wrap it around my Achilles, and I could walk around with that thing on, and I think that helped a lot with keeping the swelling down. So highly recommend you guys get one of those, especially if you're up and about in your job. It'll help at least keep the swelling down from just that compression side of things and that like ice side. Next, what I want to talk about is something I got nervous about this week. So I was reading a lot of the literature and the research about like what the difference is between, you know, healing long or healing short. And I talked about this a little bit last week. So healing long essentially means that like your Achilles is, you're like pushing dorsiflexion too quick and too early. So it causes the tendon to, like, think about a rubber band, and it just stretches out like too long. So here's my Achilles tendon, and this is how they repaired it, right? It was supposed to be like this size, and if you push dorsiflexion too fast, it stretches out. And what happens to a rubber band that's been stretched out too fast and just stays there? Well, then it doesn't have the ability to shorten again. And I need my Achilles to be both short when I need it to be short and long when I need it to be long, right? So I've been doing a lot of research and like using the evidence to decide on the fact that I wanted to cut back my mobility work. So I reduced pushing into dorsiflexion. I stopped doing any dorsiflexion work entirely this week because I do not want to heel long, and I kind of felt like I was, like when I would do calf raises and stuff, like I felt like I couldn't get up there enough on that injured side because maybe my Achilles was starting to be too long, and then when you ask it to activate, it can't go anywhere else, right? It's already super long and it can't lengthen any further. So if you have it healing short and then now you go in a calf raise position, it still has this much room to move, right? So I really tapered back. This also means that I'm not wearing my night splint anymore when I'm sleeping, because what the night splint does is it keeps you in that like 90 degrees all night long, which is a sustained stretch. So we use this in therapy. It's called the creep method, and it's basically like you try to get long-term stretching involved in the plan of care. You see this a lot with kids that are like toe walkers, and we just have them like wear night splints at night to stretch out their Achilles, and so then they can, you know, walk more normally when they're doing their day-to-day activities. Well, I want to re-shorten it again. I don't want to lengthen my Achilles anymore, so I stopped wearing the night splint, which means my foot is now more like an appointed position when I'm sleeping, and I felt a huge difference from just like 5 days of that so far. So now I feel like I can like activate my calf even more. I feel like I can activate it higher too. I have more range of motion into plantar flexion, even when I'm like sitting or standing calf raises. And I was able to, you can see right here, reduce the bands that I was using on single leg calf raises, which means that my strength is actually coming back now. Now, I don't know if it was just the timeline of last week versus this week and my strength is just better this week, but I'm attributing it to the fact that I was pushing things a little bit too fast, and I'm only 8 weeks out. That means that the tissue healing timeline is not complete at all, right? So our tissue healing timeline is pretty much until that 12-week mark. So I'm still in that stage of healing. So I'm tapering back starting at week 7, and now I'm going to just like for the next 5 weeks really take it easy on dorsiflexion. And then once I hit that 12-week mark, my the statistics for re-rupturing go down dramatically. So I'm going to start pushing my dorsiflexion a lot once I hit 12 weeks, and not until then, because I need to be strong, I need to be powerful, I want to do both gymnastics and Olympic weightlifting type movements. And so I'm really using evidence and research and kind of fear right now to like guide my decision, because you would rather heal short than heal long, because you can always push through dorsiflexion later, but once you lengthen that tendon, it's lengthened forever, guys. So do not push dorsiflexion, okay? Wait until after 12 weeks to start pushing dorsiflexion, and talk to your doctor if you're curious or if you want to learn anything more about this. For physical therapy this week, I still did 3 days of physical therapy this week. We did a lot more balance exercises, like single leg pallof presses were really difficult, not when my like injured leg was on the inside, but when the injured leg was on the outside, because obviously like midline is just here. So if you're standing on that outside leg, that means that your body has to work that much harder to resist that rotational component. So that was really hard and challenging. We did a lot of like step ups to reverse lunge. We did a lot of like posterior step ups. We started backwards walking, so retro walking, and that felt so good. It was like every step I took, I could like push off and push into plantar flexion, and I felt like my like calf was actually working. So that was really good. If you're not doing that, I highly recommend you guys do some backwards walking. We also did some like lateral walking, some rotational walking, just like moving in different positions and different directions to challenge my body in different ways, which is super functional, because we don't just walk forward and backwards throughout the day, or you shouldn't just walk forward and back. you should be kind of moving freely and not limiting yourself. So we've been doing this like graded exposure to kind of everything that I would need to do on a day-to-day basis, and I think that's been going pretty well. We're doing, single leg squats. I did some Bulgarian Split squats this week. A lot more calf strengthening. I've been trying to do a little bit of calf strengthening every single day, even outside of physical therapy, because I feel like that calf strength is going to be like that last thing that comes back. Everyone says it just takes forever to get that single leg calf raise, and personally I don't feel comfortable running, which is pretty much jumping from one foot to the other foot, until I can do a single leg calf raise. Like, I feel like that's a recipe for disaster if you start running too fast. So I'm gonna keep working on calf strengthening every day. And I did like leg press to calf raise this week with the BFR cuff, which killed me, but I think that's some stuff that I'm gonna start integrating that's really compound type movements, so I can get more bang for my buck out of it. Yeah, I mean, everything is going pretty well. My strength is definitely coming back. Obviously my leg size is still smaller than my non-injured side, so I'm gonna keep working on BFR, still trying to like simulate that human growth hormone, and try to get as much hypertrophy as I can on this injured limb, and still keep eating a lot of protein. All that stuff is really important, so I'm gonna keep doing that. And I think that's pretty much it for this week. I do go back to my surgeon on Monday, which is just tomorrow, so that'll be about 8.5 weeks post surgery, and he's gonna tell me I can be out of my boot, but I've already been out of my boot, because remember guys, it's not about the boot, it's more about limiting dorsiflexion at this stage of like my recovery. So he's gonna be like, take your boot off, and I'll be like, already did, sort of thing. So I'm actually maybe not even gonna wear it in. I'm probably just gonna carry it in and just walk in like normal, because he knows what I've been doing. He follows me on Instagram, so I'm sure he's well aware that I've been pushing my limits, but also been like maintaining protocol, or at least like what needs to be maintained in the protocol. Yeah, I think that is all for week 8 update. So I'll let you guys know what the doctor says the next time I go in, and I hope you guys have a great day. Let me know if you have any questions. Make sure you subscribe to my page, and make sure you follow me on all the socials so we can stay in touch. All right, have a great day.